Ric Flair. This is becoming a recurring theme here, but Ric Flair was back in the news again for something that he said on his Woo Nation podcast. And this one stuck in my craw. This guy's going to make me stick up for WWE. Now look what you've done. You're making me do this. On his podcast, Flair revealed that he was very upset, because Flair's a very emotional guy. So we already know he's a very emotionally sensitive person. He revealed that he was very upset that no one from WWE reached out to him after he announced his split from Wendy Barlow. He said what killed him is that so many people reached out to him, Charles Barkley, Darius Rucker, Kid Rock, but not one person from WWE checked in to see how he was doing after the news broke, or to find out what happened and make sure he was doing okay. Probably because he's already been through this about 5 times before. But nobody reached out to him. He was very upset, and he referred to WWE as the most insensitive company in the world. People that I have given my life to, and they've also given a lot of theirs to me, but no one. You see where it goes. When you're not there, they simply do not care at all anymore. Now, I'm not saying he's wrong when he calls WWE an insensitive company. You see the way they treat people sometimes, and I can understand him being a little bit bothered by it. But to say, oh, nobody called or texted from WWE to see if I was okay after the split from my lady. WWE is the most insensitive company in the world. This is coming from a man who borrowed money numerous times from Vince McMahon, his boss, on one occasion to the tune of $800,000 that Vince McMahon gave him because he needed to pay off his debt to the IRS because this man was incapable of paying his taxes. Through some of his divorces, Vince gave him money, and there have been many. He's gone on record as saying that Vince would lend him money. You know, before the casket was closed, at his son's funeral, he slipped his Hall of Fame ring onto Reed's finger. Fast forward a few months, he's down at NXT. Triple H calls him aside, and he gives him another Hall of Fame ring with his son's name engraved on it. How very insensitive of them. So hearing him of all people, and he's got plenty of reasons to defend WWE, including a couple of the examples I just gave you. For him to go public on his podcast and be complaining about the fact, oh, they didn't call me, they're so insensitive, the most insensitive company in the world. Hearing him say this, him of all people, it just rubbed me the wrong way. The minute they offer, and you know, the minute they offer him another contract that pays well, I guess they won't be so insensitive anymore. Flair is also getting the Tupac treatment and getting his own hologram. Imagine AR describes itself as an augmented reality metaverse company that creates immersive AR campaigns for sports teams, brands, and businesses. And through the website famedays.com, fans will be able to download and use the Fame Days app to view life-size hologram video messages right inside their home. It works in a way that fans can record their videos alongside a virtual projection of, in this case, Ric Flair, as if they are with him in real life. And the service officially launches in April with a retail price of anywhere from $5 to $20 per greeting. Hey, you know, if they really want to make it lifelike, the hologram will be sitting at the bar double fisting with a drink in each hand doing the helicopter. I was sad to hear about the death of former WWE and WCW referee Mickie Jay Henson. He passed away this week at the age of 60 following a battle with COVID-related pneumonia. He had suffered severe lung damage from it. He was taken off life support. If you grew up a WWE fan in the early 90s, you may have seen him as one of the talents they brought in to do jobs to the big stars. I honestly did not even know that he had done jobs for WWE in the early 90s. There's one right there on YouTube of him against The Undertaker. I knew of him as a referee. I didn't know that he was brought in to do that. More likely, you would recognize him as one of the referees. Years later in WCW, after WWE bought the company, he was hired as a referee a few years later in 2005. And he worked across all of the brands, Raw, SmackDown, ECW. But for a time, he was the head referee for SmackDown and ECW. He officiated a ton of classic matches. I mean, he was in the ring for some very memorable battles, including Goldberg's title defense against DDP at Halloween Havoc in '98, which I still think probably was Goldberg's best match of his entire career. The Starrcade main event, where Nash ended Goldberg's undefeated streak. The Bret Hart-Chris Benoit tribute match on Nitro, the tribute match to Owen Hart in 1999, which he has said was his personal favorite match that he was ever a part of. He reffed the hardcore match between Edge and Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. So he's been, and that's just a small sampling. He's been part of a lot of classic bouts. He was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2008, and WWE kept him on the payroll for 8 months before letting him go, which he was very appreciative of them doing. He was told that he only had months left to live, but he fought back and he proved the doctors wrong. I had the chance to meet him in the lobby. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but I met him in the lobby of the hotel where Wrestle Reunion, the very last Wrestle Reunion convention that they ever did. This was in 2012, so 10 years ago. I believe it was the last Wrestle Reunion before WrestleCon replaced it and became a thing. But I just happened to spot him in the lobby. You know, I had left the main ballroom where all the signings were happening. And I walked out into the lobby, and there he was, and, you know, in his referee shirt, and had the chance to chat with him for a couple of minutes. I'm very happy to see him doing well. I knew he had been diagnosed with cancer. I had already known that. And he looked to be in great spirits. Just a really nice guy. More engaging, I'll say, more engaging that day than most people were inside the actual ballroom. But I'm very happy I got to meet him and Bobby Heenan that day.